was a kid, ambrosia was one of my favorite things to eat. And I don't know still to this day whether it's simply because the word is so romantic or whether it's simply because it's so good. Probably a combination. But this is what we're doing today. And when I was a kid, we used a lot of canned fruit, and you can still do that. I'm going to do fresh fruit with this one, however. So I've got 1.5 cups of fresh pineapple. Now again, canned pineapple will work just as well. It tastes a little bit different because the fresh is not cooked and the canned obviously is during the canning process. If you are using canned, make sure you get the chunks that are canned in juice and save that juice because it's pineapple juice and it's perfectly good to use. So that's going to go in our bowl. 1.5 cups of pineapple. Now the next thing I'm going to put in here are orange sections. Orange sections back in the day, and a lot of folks are still using the canned mandarin oranges. Again, they're fine, and if they're in juice, which they should be for this recipe, drain the juice and save it, mix it with the pineapple juice and make a special breakfast beverage or something. I sectioned fresh oranges. You could use the small mandarin oranges or the clementines in order to do this as well. Just make sure if you're using regular oranges, not the clementines so much, but that you actually do the sectioning so that you get the membranes off. They do have a little bit of bitterness to them, not so much as grapefruit, but the thing that's with these is that they're a little bit tougher, and we want to get that part away. I've got about 1.5 cups. This is about 2 medium to small bananas I'm going to put in here. Bananas are fairly straightforward. They're always going to be fresh. And then 1.5 cups also of seedless grapes. I like the red ones simply because of the color contrast here. If you only have green, you could use that equally well. I've got 1/2 cup of miniature marshmallows, and this is going to provide a little bit of sweetness. You do have some tartness going on with some of the other ingredients that are in there. They also provide a really fun texture. And the next ingredient is yogurt. I'm using a vanilla low-fat yogurt. You could use a Greek yogurt if you chose, and the amount of sugar you're going to use is kind of up to you. If you do use a Greek yogurt and as you're working through it you decide it's a little bit too tart, you could always add a little bit of sugar, or you could add some of the juice that you've drained away from some of the other ingredients as well if you're using canned. This is simply going to get stirred together. Now, for best flavor, it's nice if you give it a couple of hours for those flavors to blend together so it has time for everything to kind of start tasting like it's the same thing. The next ingredient we're going to use, I'm going to sprinkle on the top, but if you wanted to, you could actually sprinkle in here as well, and that's toasted coconut. Now, I'm using a packaged coconut product. I see some recipes out there and maybe you choose to flake your own. That's a little bit more of a challenge than I usually want to go through in order to make a dessert or a salad. This is used either way. I toasted the coconut by putting it in the oven. It's going to go in the oven at 350 for somewhere between 5 to 12 minutes, and that's going to depend a little bit on what the temperature of the coconut was, whether or not it's sweetened. So there's a variety of things that may impact exactly how long it needs to be in there. You just need to keep an eye on it because it is going to go from nice and lovely, just starting to turn golden brown, to burnt fairly quickly, just like nuts do. We're going to sprinkle a little bit of that. It also, when it's toasted, it gets nice and crunchy. That's the reason I like to sprinkle it on the top as opposed to mixing it in, where even if you toast it, you get those flavors, but it softens up. I hope you'll give this one a try. Again, this could be dessert, or it could be a salad on the side. It's Ambrosia. For Oklahoma Gardening, I'm Barbara Brown.